Rebounds TV with Calvin and Barry. Just two crazy fans of the Sacramento Kings and they sharing their opinion. So be sure that you subscribe. It's for the fans, by the fans. Whether you chilling on the couch or wildin' in the stand. For laid back conversations about the Kings, subscribe here. Staying down until we come up thinking this gon' be our year. We're here, drinking beer, talking about the Kings. Be sure you subscribe so you can hear that bell ring, yeah. Welcome to Royal Rebounds TV with Calvin and Barry. Just two crazy fans of the Sacramento Kings and they sharing their opinion. So be sure that you subscribe. It's for the fans, by the fans. Whether you chilling on the couch or wildin' in the stand. For laid back conversations about the Kings, subscribe here. Staying down until we come up thinking this gon' be our year. We're here, drinking beer, talking about the Kings. Be sure you subscribe so you can hear that bell ring, yeah.
you tripping, baby, you know you invited. Acting like you know what's up, but you ain't psychic. Told you nothing going down, but you ain't like it. I told you nothing going down when you excited. So if you want a song, go and get the one. Show me the money, get the money, let's go down, down. Break it up, when we make it all, make it up, break it up, break it up, then we make it up.
Welcome to Royal Rebounds TV with Calvin and Barry. Just two crazy fans of the Sacramento Kings, and they sharing their opinion. So be sure that you subscribe. It's for the fans, by the fans. Whether you chilling on the couch or wildin' in the stand. For laid back conversations about the Kings, subscribe here. Staying down until we come up thinking this gon' be our year. We're here, drinking beer, talking about the Kings. Be sure you subscribe so you can hear that bell ring, yeah.
What's up, Kings fans? We're here, we're drinking beers, and we're talking about your Sacramento Kings.
We're celebrating.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Welcome back, everyone, to Royal Rebounds TV. We are live right now celebrating another Kings victory, the first official victory of the season, if you don't count preseason and summer league and all that.
Doesn't count anymore, that's for sure.
Calvin and Barry breaking down the game, having fun. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. What's up, Lane? Dirt and Rust, Gotham. Welcome, welcome. What's up, guys? Let us know how you're feeling in the chat about this Kings victory. Go ahead and answer that poll here. Looks like we don't have a single person that was didn't think the Kings were going to pull it out. Some were worried, but pretty good, right?
Yeah. I had faith. I thought they were going to pull it out.
So, Sacramento Kings win 124-121 over the Portland Trailblazers. It looks like that O or that 0 on Dame Lillard's jersey didn't stand for Oakland tonight, right? That was the amount of threes he made. Absolutely 0.
He had a very unusual night. But I will say, the Kings did a great job defensively on him. They threw a lot of different bodies at him. I thought it was a great move to start Mo Harkless on him to start the game, and Davion Mitchell did exactly what he was brought onto this team to do, and that was to come up with big stops when they needed it. So
welcome to everybody to the show. If it's your first time to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below to sign up for the Royal family. Be a part of it. Hit that like button so more Kings fans can see these videos and show us that you're happy that the Kings were able to win this game. All right, so Cal, real quick, before we jump into the game tonight, what has everyone been talking about? Marvin Bagley, after failing to, negotiate a contract extension with the Kings on Monday, nothing happened. Basically, he's a restricted free agent at the end of the year. And then his agent comes out and says that, the Kings have informed Marvin that he's not in the opening night rotation. I saw Marvin on the bench cheering for the team. Mm-hmm. He seemed to be happy, or I guess as happy as you could be on the bench. Yeah. But what do you think about this whole situation?
It's a little confusing to me, to be honest. I don't really know, and I kind of was talking to a few people on Twitter about it today. I personally think it doesn't make a lot of sense not to play him at all. I think that this is one of the 2, maybe 3 best big men on the entire team. I don't see how he can't help this team in any way, shape, or form. That being said, they went out and they, at least the first half, it looked like they weren't going to miss him at all, But I do think that it's going to be maybe a matchup dependent thing. Clearly, there's some things going on behind the scenes that you and I don't know about, and so that's probably playing into this a little bit. But yeah, to me, I'm surprised because who doesn't want a 6'10" big man who can score 15 to 18 points a game, grab 7 to 9 rebounds, and hit corner threes? Like that doesn't make any sense to me. So.
Yeah, it's a really confusing situation. I could understand him being upset, watching, guys like Luka Doncic and Trae Young signing big contracts. Jaren Jackson just signed a big contract. But there are some guys that weren't able. You look at DeAndre Ayton, the first overall pick, wasn't able to sign a contract extension. But the benching is just puzzling to me. There has to be something either going on with his health or maybe possible trade rumors, or maybe he got into it with people at practice, maybe one of the coaches. We all saw what happened to Ben Simmons this week, and he ended up being suspended from their victory tonight.
Yes.
I don't want to bring up Ben Simmons too early because we're going to talk about him a little bit later in the show. It feels like every single podcast we end up talking about Ben Simmons. Dude's playing basketball with his cell phone in his pocket and everything.
To the Kings, so it's hard not to, but.
All right, so what's up, guys? Thanks for everyone joining in. It looks like the chat's going wild. Fox was a little bit off tonight. He missed a couple free throws. I'll give you that. He looked really aggressive early on. I loved the threes early on. And first half, 16 points in 16 minutes. So, yeah, that was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to dive here in, Calvin, to this game. We know that there were a few records, I guess, made or broken. First off, I want to say Buddy Hield tied Peja Stojakovic for most threes in Kings history with 1,070, and he did it in 200 less games.
Yes, well, that just goes to show you the state of the NBA. Not to take anything away from Buddy Hield. He's a great shooter, but they shoot a few more threes today than they did back in Peja's day. So.
Speaking of threes, Harrison Barnes went crazy from three-point range.
Was on fire.
8 threes tonight, set a career high, and he also set a new career high in points as well. What did you think about HB tonight?
He was phenomenal in every aspect of that word. He didn't have to overexert himself tonight defensively. And I thought he just played really, really smart on offense. The game plan seemed to be get the ball into De'Aaron Fox's hands or Tyrese's hands, let them try to break things down, get into the paint, and then find these guys outside for three. So from Harrison's perspective, it was pretty easy. All he had to do was catch and shoot, and he could not miss today. Really, really came up huge for them late in the game too, hit some monumental threes. So
it was incredible. Each time I see him, he's open. Again, I don't know how he kept getting open, but when you're playing with guys like Buddy Hield, Buddy Hield was making some threes tonight too. So, when you're playing with those type of guys, you're the guy that's left open. And I kept seeing him shoot the ball. I expect him to miss. I feel like averages are finally going to catch up to you, right? Yep. And he just keeps knocking them down. Some huge threes late in the game. We're going to talk about a little bit later in the game in a moment here because there was a few different instances where the Kings had an opportunity to lose the game or Portland had an opportunity to steal this game and they end up not doing it. So we'll jump in there in a second. But a question I wanted to ask you, Cal, I got a few questions here. But first off, who impressed you most on the Sacramento Kings roster tonight?
Wow, I was worried about that question because, I could really go through the lineup of everybody that played tonight and say some things, multiple things, really good things about every single one of them. Obviously, Harrison Barnes impressed me. He had a great night shooting, but, I expect him to be one of the best players on this team. So Richaun Holmes was tremendous, absolutely tremendous. To me, it really highlighted the fact that convinced me that my thought of him being the number one off-season detail acquisition or reacquisition for them confirmed that for me. The guy in 29 minutes was plus 20 in the plus or minus. I don't really like that stat, but that's incredible. He was the only guy who was plus double digits on the whole team. And he did exactly what we know that he's going to do now. He was there on the offensive boards, high efficient game. He was perfect from the field right up until the fourth quarter, missed that last field goal attempt, was also, solid at the free throw line as always, 11 boards, and really played well. Portland, they got back into this game using the pick and roll, but he played really, really good defense in the pick and roll. He's going to be able to do that for them all year long, and he's really the anchor, of this team, both offensively and defensively. They run a lot of things through him on offense in that pick and roll as well between Fox and Haliburton. So I was so happy with the way that he played tonight.
And he had a 3 today.
He did
late in the third quarter. He only had 2 threes all last season.
Yep.
First game of the season, already knocking it down. And it was a late 3 too, like to beat the buzzer.
As the shot clock expired,
yeah. It was pretty incredible. You want to dive here into the box scores?
Yeah. So obviously we'll start with Harrison Barnes. Big 36 points, career high. 8 of 9 from the free throw line, 8 of 11 from 3, 10 of 19 from the field. Really filled it up, shooting the ball. Richaun Holmes, I just talked about a little bit. De'Aaron Fox, this was not his best game by any means. Yet you look down and he finishes with 27 points, 8 assists, 5 boards, shot 7 of 10 at the foul line. That's a pretty good stat line. I'd take that any night. I did think that he forced it a little bit too much, especially in the first half. However, what really got him going was getting to the free throw line. And in the second half, the calls were clearly going the other way. He couldn't get to the free throw line to save his life. Man. So Buddy Hield, a big 17 points off the bench, 4 of 7 from deep. I think he's really settled into this role, and I think he's going to be he's going to have a great season. Statistically, he might not set any career highs or anything like that, but he is going to be a huge part of this team moving forward. And then Davion Mitchell, there's not much to talk about him in the stat sheet. He scored his first bucket there late in the game, but the man played tremendous defense tonight, and he did not draw easy assignments for his first NBA game. So very, very happy with his performance as well.
You look at the stat sheet here, 24 minutes for Davion Mitchell, 0 steals, 0 blocks, 2 points, yet he had a huge impact on this game. I saw him in a couple different 3-guard lineups, one where he was the point guard controlling the ball early on. It was like him. Hold on. It was him.
They played him with Tyrese and Buddy for a while. They played him with
Terrence Davis and Tyrese. Yeah. Pretty incredible, man. That guy.
It was. And they trusted him late in the game to be the guy to stick Damian Lillard. And look, Damian Lillard is one of the best players in this game. He had an off night. He missed shots that he makes in his sleep. But I did really think that the way the Kings came out aggressively against him, they started with a big player on him. Then they brought Davion Mitchell on him. They had De'Aaron Fox guarding him in certain spots. The greatest players in this league, any NBA player, you can't give them the same look every time. They're too good for that, especially somebody like Damian Lillard. So I really do think that the Kings' game plan defensively against him threw him off a little bit. They just made it really tough for him. And against a great player, that's all you can do. You just have to make it as tough as possible.
Yeah, and Damian Lillard had an off night, just like Davion Mitchell's nickname, right?
I was waiting for you to go there.
0 for 9 from three-point range. But let's talk about CJ for a little bit. CJ killed it tonight. 34 points, 3 for 11 from three-point range, especially late in the game. He's the one that brought them back, kept them in the game. All I have to say is if you're Portland, you are stupid to trade CJ McCollum.
Well, he really showed how much they missed him last year when he was out with that hairline fracture. He's such a great player. I love watching him. I also saw on Twitter today somebody asked, who's the most underrated player in the NBA? He's got to get some votes, I think. I don't think people talk about him enough, and how he complements Damian Lillard, even though they're both smaller guards.
And from small schools.
But his ability to get to the basket as well as his outside shot, you said it, he literally brought them back almost single-handedly there in that third quarter.
Yeah, it's a great combo for them. And, something I heard on the broadcast today, which I didn't know, Portland has been to the playoffs 8 consecutive seasons. They're the only team in the Western Conference to do that.
Pretty amazing.
Which is amazing if you think about teams like the Lakers.
Yeah.
So I don't think CJ gets enough love.
No, definitely not.
Obviously, they probably need another player to get them over that hump.
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
You're not giving
really
up
don't
CJ.
Have much behind Dame Lillard and CJ. It's going to be another year where those two guys have to do a lot, if not all, of the heavy lifting for them.
Maybe Ben Simmons can take them over the hump, right?
Maybe.
That's funny. All right, so how'd you feel about Tristan Thompson? I know he was a pretty big acquisition this offseason. He's been the talk of media day and bringing a veteran presence and a joyful presence to this Kings roster. I saw him have a couple quick fouls early on in the game. Yep. But how did you feel about his impact on the game tonight?
I thought he had a great impact on the game. Offensive rebounds are his game. He had 4 of them tonight. If he can get 4 offensive rebounds a game, that's going to be huge for Sacramento. Nurkic is a big bruising guy. He didn't really have a great game necessarily, but I think that the biggest impact Tristan Thompson's going to have outside of his leadership, or his veteran leadership that he's going to bring to this team, is going to be the fact that Richaun Holmes has somebody reliable to come in off the bench every night now and give him a break. Richaun last year, really the only complaint you could have with his game was that he picked up too many quick fouls all the time. He was playing in foul trouble a lot. And so having a guy like Tristan Thompson, he first checked into the game pretty early on in the first quarter. And I think you're going to see that a lot. So it's going to not only keep Richaun fresh, but it's going to limit the amount of bad foul situations that he gets himself into because they have somebody that they can bring off the bench right away for him. Yeah,
and as you mentioned, who's always available.
Yeah.
Tristan Thompson won the Iron Man Award like his first 4 years in the season. I mean, in the league. This guy rarely ever misses games. He's always available. Something the Kings haven't had out of their big men over the past few years.
Yeah.
So that's pretty big here. To everybody who's just jumping in here, welcome to Royal Rebounds TV. This is a live Kings Blazers post-game podcast with Calvin and Barry. Make sure you guys hit that like button down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to join the Royal family. And also wanted to remind you all, we are premiering the 2nd season of the Royal Report. It's our ESPN-style Kings show every Friday. This Friday will be the first episode of season 2. Dab, Rab, I know you were asking about it last week. It's not last week. It officially starts when the season starts. So that's right. We have started the season.
I'm wearing my shirt for it today. Royal Report shirt.
75th season of NBA basketball.
That's right.
So Friday will be the first episode of season 2 of the Royal Report. We take a lot of questions. We do cowbell questions to end the show. So if you guys have any, make sure you guys drop them down in the comments down below in this video, and we'll be sure to answer them. All right, so Harrison Barnes on fire tonight. New career high in points and threes. Buddy Hield. I want to talk about Buddy for a little bit. Now, we had all talked about Buddy possibly getting traded to the Lakers and what that was going to do to his psyche. There was some questions during media day asking him, and Tristan Thompson jumped right in and said he's part of the team. He's going to be here. I told you all I wasn't worried because he is a team player. He's a hard worker. He loves to play basketball, and that's exactly what he did tonight. I saw him running back on defense, sprinting back on defense, and that's incredible because Calvin and I's biggest knock on Buddy over the last couple years has not been his shooting because we both think he's an incredible shooter. There was only one player that made more threes than him last year, and that's Steph Curry.
Pretty good shooter.
Which is an obvious. But he played incredible defense in this game. Don't you agree?
He did. Well, I thought the team played very good defense, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Yes, they gave up a big run in the second half. CJ started making shots, and free throws really are what turned the game around. The Kings had 20 fast break points tonight to the Blazers 2, and when guys are getting to the free throw line, that takes away your ability to get out and run. So that to me was really where the game turned and why Portland came back. But Buddy did play very, very good defense tonight. And I believe that this finally is the perfect situation for him to really flourish on this team, on a winning team. He's really accepted this role, and being a good role player, there's more to it than just saying, or a coach coming to you and saying, hey, look, this is what we need from you. We need you to do X, Y, and Z, and you accept that role, and all of a sudden you're a good role player. Yes, you have to do that, but part of being a good role player is how the team is built around you. Mm-hmm. It's a combination of both your individual skills, mm-hmm. that's why you're fit for that role, but it's also because of the other guys that are on the team around you that dictates your role as well. Mm-hmm. And so on this team, he's coming off the bench. He's not playing huge starters minutes, so he's fresh. He's able to get up shots at will. He has the green light like he always does, but he's also not asked to guard. He didn't have to guard either Dame or CJ tonight, mm-hmm. and he's not going to have to rely on, or they're not going to have to rely on him, rather, having to be in a situation where he's got to be a two-way player and guard the other team's one of their best players on a nightly basis. So I think that whole combination of things is kind of like the stars aligning for him. He can play really free, not have a lot of pressure on himself, not have a lot of people breathing down his back saying, he's the make it or break it type situation for the Kings. So I think that you're really going to see him, despite all the controversy surrounding him with the trade and whether or not he is the right fit for this team, he's going to have a good year.
Yeah, I agree. And, looking at the stat sheet, 17 points, 4 of 7 from three-point range, 3 of 4 from field goal or from free throws. He made a couple big ones late in the game. But what really jumped out to me was 2 assists, 0 turnovers.
Yeah.
Buddy Hield, we've both been, we've both had some constructive criticism recently and into last year about him trying to do too much, him turning the ball over too much, trying to make plays when he's not really a playmaker. But tonight he really played within himself.
Yeah.
He hustled when he needed to hustle. He shot open shots when he had open shots, and he really played within himself. And I think Luke Walton rewarded him with that. I saw late in the fourth quarter, right before Tyrese got put in the game, before he fumbled the ball, right before that, the 3-guard lineup was on the court, but it's not the 3-guard lineup that everyone's been talking of.
Right.
It was De'Aaron Fox, Davion Mitchell, and Buddy Hield. That's pretty incredible when the Kings are up, right?
Yeah. Well, it's that offense-defense combination. And not just that one, it's the fact that the Kings have so many different lineups, so many different looks that they can throw at teams right now. We talked about it in the preseason. This bench is by far and away the most improved part of this team, and it's going to be the reason why the Kings are most improved overall, because you have the ability now to give De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Haliburton and Harrison Barnes needed time on the bench. And when, defense is hard. It's hard to play good defense in the NBA for a long period of time. So the fact that these guys can constantly give each other blows, that's why you're going to see guys flying around. The closeouts tonight were great. They were playing defense on a string. It seemed like the communication was really good, except for a few mishaps here and there, but that's going to happen over the course of any game. Mm-hmm. But they really battled through together, and the defensive intensity and the pressure was high all game long. That's all I really wanted to see out of this team. So
yeah, and the Kings only allowed 49 points in the first half.
Yeah.
Which is huge. If they can do that more often, then they're not in the third and the fourth quarter trying to come back from 20 down. They were up 20, which, I would like to see them hold that lead a little bit better. But it's exhausting trying to come back when you're down that much. And we saw it tonight in Portland as they kind of fizzled out at the end. Damian Lillard couldn't make that wide open 3 that he had. They made a couple bad plays. Mm-hmm. The referees tried to help them out tonight. I want to get to that challenge in a little bit here, but
I was hoping we'd talk about that.
Yeah, but Dirt and Russ said Buddy was the 3rd best rebounder tonight, And I saw a huge rebound he had late in the game. And I saw an offensive rebound he had too, which we'd all talked about. Rebounding was one of the Kings' Achilles heels.
Right.
Defense, rebounding. And they go hand in hand, right?
Certainly.
If you're not getting rebounds and the other team is getting 2, 3, 4 opportunities, of course your defense is going to look bad, right?
Definitely. You can tell that was a point of emphasis for them, and not just defensive rebounding. I loved the way that a lot of these guards crashed the boards on the offensive end. It's one thing if you're going to choose to play a smaller lineup. You know, that generally means that you're going to be at a disadvantage rebounding. But I think the Kings had a great game plan or idea, whatever it might be, in that we've got some athletic guards who can. Terrence Davis is one of them. He was all over he didn't necessarily get. I don't even know if he had an offensive rebound tonight. But it's not necessarily just getting the board; it's crashing the glass and making it difficult. You know, you get the ball.
Because he gets boxed out
exactly, which makes it
somebody
easier
else
for Tristan Thompson or Rashawn Holmes to sneak in there for a easy steal putback. So when you play small, you have to do things like that to counteract that. And it was clear that was something that they were trying to do.
Yeah, I agree. I just want to get another cheers here. Kings 1-0, baby. I want to do my Ric Flair. Woo! Man, it feels good, huh? So this team officially has not lost the game since Davion Mitchell has been on the team. That's pretty wild, right?
Yes, it is. It's still early on, but you can just see the difference on this team from last year. They're deeper, they're stronger. How about De'Aaron Fox just throwing Robert Covington out of the way earlier tonight? That was pretty
great.
Awesome.
That was great.
Yeah.
I love seeing him.
We're going to see that all season long.
I love seeing him get to the basket more. As we both mentioned, he shot a lot of threes tonight.
Yes, he did.
But he did make 2 early threes, and I think his confidence got up. He was feeling good, so he's kind of.
And he is an improved 3-point shooter. So I'm no longer. Were there a few threes that he took tonight that I thought he forced or were maybe some bad shots? Yes, there were. But he has improved his outside shooting enough to where I'm okay with it. I'm going to live with him taking those shots. I need to see him attempt. He had 10 free throw attempts tonight. Mm-hmm. He's got to be somewhere 8 to 10 free throws minimum a game this year.
I totally agree, but you get frustrated when you keep driving to the basket and getting hit over and over, and they're not calling plays. But
you keep doing it.
Yes.
You keep doing it.
And if you can get that 10 free throw attempts a game, you're going to have nights where it doesn't look like you had a huge impact on the game, but you still had 27 points.
Exactly.
Right? That's huge. All right, so speaking of not calling fouls, I want to talk about Yusuf Nurkic and his broke ass. So,
you're throwing it to me on that one?
I mean, I see him over the back. I see him hitting guys. He reminds me of like the big guy on the playground that's too slow that everyone can get around, but he just fouls you so that you can't do anything.
He is. He's a huge man, and he is very agile, right, for a guy his size. So he has this ability to like tiptoe around things, and he makes it look just enough like he doesn't create enough contact, but it didn't get any more blatant than that over the back on Davion Mitchell.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
don't know what else you need to see for that to be a foul. Like that was the most blatant non-call of the night for me.
And the rake across Harrison Barnes' face.
Well,
I know that was
called,
but he's still complaining about it. He's still whining. He's watching the replay.
I think you could have made a case for a flagrant foul on that.
I definitely think it should have been a flagrant foul. But I'm a Kings fan, so what do I know, right?
Yeah.
He only had 4 personal fouls tonight. I was counting. I think he should have fouled out in the second quarter.
I think so too. And Yusuf Nurkic is a guy that fouls out a lot. So it's not surprising to see him out there throwing people all over the court. And, that's one of the things that killed them in the playoffs was that he couldn't stay out of foul trouble late in games.
And health.
Health as well, yes. But yes, fouls, I mean, I will never say that officials or fouls win or determine games. They don't. The players determine the games. However, you look at the free throw disparity in the first half compared to the second half. Kings shot 21 free throws in the first half. They shot 8 in the second half. The Blazers shot 9 free throws in the first half, and they shot 12 or 13 in the second half. So,
yep. And, I just have to say, if he fouled out in the second quarter and Cody Zeller was guarding Rashawn Holmes, Rashawn would have had over 30 tonight. He would have had over 30. And speaking of fouls, let's talk about this coach's challenge. I know it's Chauncey Billups' first season as a head coach, but he's been in the NBA for a really long time. But back when he played, they didn't have coaches' challenges. So this is something new. I heard him say the coach's challenge was unsuccessful, and I was excited about that. And then I see the Blazers cheering and the crowd going wild. What the hell happened?
So first of all, I actually didn't even realize that you could challenge a continuation. They weren't challenging the foul. They were challenging the continuation of the foul in the and one. I didn't know that was a challengeable thing, but apparently it is. And it really, really worked out for the Blazers because they ended up just reversing the whole thing. So
it looked to me like it could have possibly been a clear path foul. He had a clear path to the basket. I know you're too close to the basket to call that, but he obviously had a clear path to the basket.
He did.
It was a flagrant foul, right? In the definition of flagrant. Maybe not a flagrant foul.
Unnecessary,
but it was.
The Kings, that could have really hurt them. That could have really, really messed things up for them because you go from potential to go up 6 on an and one free throw to all of a sudden you're down 3. Luckily, they scored right after that, and it ended up not being a problem. But, yeah, that was an interesting moment.
That was a bunch of bullshit. And then, so that was just, you look at like chain of events, right? Like if you were a time traveler and you're going to go back in time, the butterfly effect, right? This huge chain of events. Right. So then you have De'Aaron Fox losing his shoe, right?
That may have been the weirdest way to lose a shoe also.
And then Haliburton fumbles the ball after that.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. So do you know who sponsors De'Aaron Fox as far as shoe companies?
I do not, actually.
I believe it's Nike, but I'm going to look it up here. And I want to ask you all in the chat, let us know. Do you think De'Aaron Fox needs to switch companies? We saw this happen with Lonzo Ball with his shoes. And then it came out later on.
Williamson.
Well, yeah.
Nikes also.
But Lonzo Ball, he had an interview where he talked about early on in his career, he didn't want to sign with a shoe company. His dad convinced him, big baller brand, blah, 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 whatever. He talked about having ankle injuries. He talked about having foot injuries from those shitty shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to let us know. Do you think De'Aaron Fox needs to switch shoe companies or what?
And if so, which shoe company do you go with?
Let's see what is this? Yeah, Nike. Nike is his sponsor. I wear Nikes. I like Nikes. However, I've been wearing these Giannis's lately, and I like them. They're really comfortable.
You do talk very highly of them.
They're the second most comfortable shoes I've ever had, other than the LeBrons. I like the Soldier. I think they're the Soldier 4s or Soldier 5s. They are super, super comfortable.
I still love the Derrick Rose, the original Derrick Rose. No, seriously, those were some of the best shoes I ever wore.
Adidas,
yeah. Incredibly light. Had good traction. I felt
they did another piece shoes. On all the Adidas sponsored athletes with huge injuries.
I know. But hey, I loved those shoes. I felt like I could jump higher and run faster in them. So
that's all that matters. All right. So we talked about this 3-guard lineup to end the game. And by end the game, I mean before that 11-second mishap with Tyrese fumbling the ball. After I saw that, I was saying, hey, maybe Walton was right in having Fox, Davion, and Buddy out there and not having Tyrese. And I'm you know how big of a Tyrese Haliburton fan I am.
Yeah.
There was people talking about him in the last game, about how he seemed kind of out of it and not very aggressive. He had a decent game tonight, but how do you feel about Tyrese and his fit on this team? He started 29 minutes, only 2 points, and a steal.
Yeah, I mean, the stat line doesn't jump out at you necessarily. I do think that he was a little too passive tonight. I thought there were a bunch of opportunities for him. he penetrated, got into the lane, and had a wide open floater, which is a very good part of his game. He's got a great floater. And I think that he was so focused tonight on trying to find guys in the corner, trying to find that guy for the open three. You know, maybe with Davion and De'Aaron out there, he feels like his job on this team is the facilitator. And it's his position to get other guys involved first before he gets himself involved. So I would like to see him be a little bit more aggressive, look for his shot a little bit more. He really didn't kind of get involved in much of the half-court offense to where, you know, last year we saw him open for three a lot because De'Aaron would have the ball in his hands. And tonight, Harrison was on fire. Buddy was hitting from outside. So he wasn't really an option much. But I do really think that, especially if they're going to spread this floor out, they have Mo Harkless starting tonight and Harrison. You know, the three-point line is going to be loaded. So he's going to be in the middle of the paint. I would like to see him try to get off more floaters, or maybe even try to get to the foul line more, be a little more aggressive.
Yeah, he only shot the ball 5 times tonight, which is not a lot for a starter.
Right.
But I feel like Tyrese has a good ability to feel the game and do what's necessary to, like you said, help facilitate when guys are on fire, play good defense when he's not shooting well. So he's able to do more than just score.
Yeah.
Other than that turnover at the end of the game, I thought he played great tonight.
I agree. I think he did. And that's the thing about having a deep team is on some nights, one guy's going to put up huge numbers. The next night, it could be somebody else. It could be Tyrese. So,
and also, this is Tyrese's rookie season. Fans are in the stands.
Yeah, I don't
late in the
buy
game,
that.
pressure's on. He hasn't had that.
No. He's played in front of plenty of big crowds in his life. 1 year of not playing in front of fans. I get it. I get what you're trying to say, but I don't buy that. From a professional athlete standpoint, that shouldn't be an excuse.
Lane says Fox should sign with Yeezy. With those alien-looking shoes? No way, dude. That's crazy.
I think those will slow him down a little bit.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right, so everybody that's jumping in here, welcome to the Royal Rebounds Podcast with Calvin and Barry. We are discussing the Sacramento Kings victory tonight, 124-121 over the Portland Trailblazers. Damian Lillard had 0 three-pointers tonight. That's right. That 0 on that jersey does not stand for Oakland tonight.
Say that very often.
It stands for how many threes he made. Lane, I know that's your team, so in your face. And the Kings, 1-0 on the season. I know last year we started out hot and then went on a huge losing streak. Calvin, what makes you feel a little different about this season?
It's the team's overall depth, the bench play. I know I'm sounding like I'm beating a dead horse here, but that's the biggest difference to me in this team. Yes, De'Aaron Fox has put on 10 pounds of muscle. He might be a little bit better outside shooter. Harrison Barnes continues to polish his game. They re-signed Rashawn Holmes, but that's why they fizzled out at the end of games, at the end of the season last year. They just didn't have enough guys that they could rotate in there, and this year they absolutely do. That combined with the level of defense, I think they're going to play better defense this year. Hard not to, but they're going to play better defense.
I mean, it definitely looks like it's contagious when you see guys like Buddy Hield running back, everybody getting back, and I feel like Luke Walton finally has the power to where he can bench a guy. You look at Marvin Bagley. He didn't even play tonight. This is a former number 2 overall pick, has had some drama with the team. Luke said he's not playing tonight. He's not playing. I think that's the biggest thing you can do as a GM, to empower your coach, give him that ability to play the best guys, and that makes everybody else work harder. And we saw Mo Harkless had a really good game defensively, so I think it was the right move.
It did.
All right, so I want to talk a little bit more about Rashawn Holmes. I know late in the third quarter he had that three-pointer, which is a sign. But right before that, on a rebound, it looked like he came down on one of his legs a little weird. He was grimacing.
Awkwardly, yeah.
He was limping a little bit. What do you think about that situation, and do you think that might affect his availability on Friday?
Hard to tell. I mean, it certainly didn't look like it was a lingering thing. Like I said, hard to tell what it was, whether it was an ankle or a knee or foot, or, it could have been a lot of different things there. But I certainly didn't notice any, outside of the limping 3/4 of the court back, I didn't notice any lingering effects from that play. So I would be surprised to see that his status or availability was limited.
I'm looking here at the poll. We got 48% said, hell yeah, the Kings are going to pull off the win tonight. We have 5% with no, which I'm guessing that's probably Lane. And then 47% says I was worried. And we got 53 votes. That's huge, guys. Wow.
I just want to read it. Lane, I'm just going to come to your rescue here a little bit since Barry keeps throwing you under the bus. I texted Lane, sorry about your Blazers tonight, and he said, I want to see the Kings do well for a change. So,
wow. That's a backhanded compliment if I ever heard one. Thanks, Lane. All right, we're going to jump into cowbell questions here in a little bit. So if you guys have any questions for Calvin and I, drop them down in the chat, and we'll get to them here in a second. All right, Cal. So we talked about who impressed you the most tonight. I got a few more questions that I want to ask you that I was thinking about during the game. Some of them are tricky. Some of them are not so tricky.
You never make it easy on me, so I'm not surprised.
So, first game of the season, we had a shakeup in the bench this year with the Sacramento Kings. We also had a shakeup with the media team. So, Kyle Draper, Katie Christensen, Hunter were commentating during the game. Yes, how did you like it? And where is Mark Jones?
I thought they both did a great job, as they are always going to do every night. Katie was very, very honest and very sweet. She gave mad props to Doug Christie, saying it was big shoes to fill and all that, and she's right, but she's going to do a great job. I thought the two of them together were great. Where is Mark Jones? Who?
Mark Jones.
Well, it's opening week in the NBA. Mark Jones is a national TV play-by-play guy, so I'm sure that he has been filled in other spots, but we look forward to having him back the next time he calls the Kings game.
Yeah, I like Kyle, but I like my guy Mark a little bit better. So
I think most people would agree that they'd rather have Mark in there, but
nothing against you.
No buddy call game. Call at the end of this.
Yeah, nothing against you, Kyle. You do a great job. I just personal preference. I love Mark and his analogies, and he does a great job. Okay, so
it's like a human thesaurus too,
right?
With his words.
Then after the game, we see Matt Barnes and Morgan Reagan.
Yeah, shout out
Morgan. Love the Deuce and Mo podcast. If none of you guys watch it, make sure you guys check them out on YouTube. They are hilarious. The Deuce Bags and the Morons, they call their fans.
That's a self-used term there. That's not something that Barry and I came up with. So
I only have one thing to pick with you, Mo, and that is you said you took the under on the Sacramento Kings wins this season, and I'm not too happy about that.
Wow, really? I did not know that.
As many of you know, I put $100 on the Kings winning the over, 36.5.
Free money.
Exactly. All right. Next question here. Who gets traded first? Buddy or Bagley? And this might be a little bit easier than it was a few months ago.
Well,
it could be a trick question because they could both be involved in the same trade.
True, they could. I mean, I think after tonight, the easy way out is to say Marvin Bagley. I mean, the guy was literally left out of the lineup tonight. So, but I also just don't know how easy it's going to be for the Kings to make a deal for him. They've been trying to do this. Marvin Bagley's agent, I saw today, they've been asking for a trade for over a year now, and nothing has happened. So I think Coach Walton and Monty McNair especially after tonight with the way that Buddy Hield has handled himself through all of this, possibly being traded. Now he's still here on the team. He really proved his worth to this team tonight, or not necessarily tonight, but in the past month or so. So I would be surprised if they weren't involved in the same deal. I would be surprised to see Buddy Hield traded before Marvin at this point.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. And as we mentioned earlier in the show, Buddy Hield tied Peja Stojakovic tonight for most threes in a Kings jersey, 1,070. And he did it in how many less games, Calvin?
Over 200. I don't know the exact number.
That is crazy.
It is crazy.
That is crazy.
And just like the true showman he is, he's holding off to break the record until the home opener on Friday night.
Hey, I saw him take a three late in the game, and I was like, he wants it, he wants it. And it wasn't good. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. All right, so let's see here. We talked about the coach's challenge, and we talked about De'Aaron Fox's shoes. Oh, that is hilarious. I want to give a quick shout-out to Jaylen Brown. 46 points tonight in 46 minutes.
That was a wild game.
Even though it was a double overtime loss to the New York Knicks. I think
great game to watch.
I think Julius Randle had 35 tonight.
He balled out again. He's going to have another really, really good year.
Incredible. All right, let's look here through the chat. If you guys have any questions for us, go ahead and drop them down in the chat, and we will cover them. All right, let's see here. Portland scored. Yeah, Portland scored 121. That's more than what the Kings averaged in points allowed last season. That is true. But, however, they only allowed 49 points in the first half, and they played great offense tonight.
And they came up with stops when they needed to have them, too. This is the NBA. You're going to have games where you give up 120 points. Hopefully not 9 games in a row or whatever the Kings did last year. But you couldn't have watched this game tonight and felt like the Kings' defensive effort wasn't better.
Dirt and Russ says
I don't think
De'Aaron Fox should go with 0 shoes. Like shoeless Joe Jackson.
Well, he's probably still going to be very fast with that, but I'm not sure that's going to help him get to the basket and elevate over people. So,
oh man, that's funny.
Like shoeless Joe, that's interesting.
All right, let's see here. Anything else you want to mention from the game tonight? Anybody that surprised you?
Well, not a Kings player, but I do want to say really quick, Anthony Simons is a nice young basketball player.
Yeah.
I would love to have him on my team. I think this is a breakout year for him. It's been a little bit of a slow development, but he came into the league so young. He looked really, really good tonight, and he scorched teams in the preseason. So,
yeah, I totally agree. All right, Richard here says, is it just me or does Davion give the rest of the team that swagger? We just look different this year.
I couldn't agree more. That's a very, very good statement. You know, Davion to me is kind of like a shutdown corner in the NFL. He's real handsy, as most good on-ball defenders are. You know, it's just a question of how much are the officials going to let you get away with on a given night. Mm-hmm. But he's also really smart. He can sense. He picked up, I think, a quick 2 fouls or something in the first couple minutes he was out there, and he adjusted his play accordingly. He still was physical. He still was in guys' bodies and met them at the point of attack. But, he has that sort of lockdown corner, like a Jalen Ramsey type individual defender to me. And the Kings are going to benefit from it all year long. They're going to keep throwing them at everybody. So,
yeah, I think that he had a big impact on this team. Also bringing in some other guys from the bench, like Mo Harkless. Kings re-signed him, promoted him. Yep. He started tonight, played really well on the defensive end of the floor, bringing guys back like Terrence Davis, Alex Len, guys that love to play defense. And, I think it starts at the top and it trickles down. So Davion is a huge impact on this team, but I think this really shows what the vision is of this front office. They're aligned with the coaching staff, and they're not afraid to bench guys like number 2 overall pick, Marvin Bagley if they don't feel like he's going to bring it on the defensive end of the floor. All right, 209 Kings, shout out. How much will you win if it's over? If the Kings win over 36.5 games, I think my 100 pays $265, something like that. Easy money.
It's easy money. Not life-changing money, easy money.
Not life-changing money. I also saw someone put $10 on the Kings to win the championship. This was in like a Facebook group chat. $10 to win over 2,000. So it's a long shot, but I love it.
Hey,
I
we'll
love
all
it.
celebrate with you if it happens.
I love it. Sure. I love it. All right, Buddha just noticed the crown bag. You do. It's not an empty bag. Cal, you wanna show him the crown there?
Not an empty bag.
Do you guys know why we have a bottle of Crown here?
Yeah, it's not for no reason or because we really like Crown.
It is a very specific reason. If you think you know, let us know in the chat, and we'll be happy to let you know if you are correct or not.
If anybody gets the correct answer, Barry will take a shot on live TV.
Yes, I will. And it's a fresh bottle too, so we'll have to do that. All right. Should we be worried about Tyrese?
No. I don't think you need to say anything else.
That's a good Bill Belichick answer. Tyrese will be fine. I think, as we mentioned earlier, he's the type of guy that plays by feel in the game. He saw guys were hot. He did what he could to make up the difference on the defensive end of the floor, passing the ball. I think he played great other than that fumble late in the game.
Think about it, he's probably the one guy on this team that has to adjust his play the most from last year to this year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, and we're asking a second-year guy who they expect a lot out of. Now he's a starter. There was all these questions about how he fit into the team last year, and he fit perfect. Well, as good as he can. So this year he's got to play a little bit different because of the guys that they've added, because there's all these different lineups that are going to be out. He's going to be out there with. So, it's not going to be easy, but I've definitely got faith on him. It's definitely not time to worry about Tyrese.
Yeah, and he's a rookie this year. He talked about it. He's still got rookie duties. He's still playing in front of crowds. He's if it was Ben Simmons, he'd be eligible for Rookie of the Year this year. We'll just leave it at that. All right, Richard says, who thinks we sneak into the playoffs? This guy.
I'm on board with that for sure.
But I don't know if we're going to sneak. I think we might make it legitimately.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to turn heads.
All right, Jeremiah says, but we allowed that many points with Lillard subdued. Kind of concerned on the D side of the ball.
Well, again, this game was a tale of two halves. If you watched the defensive effort throughout the whole game, the effort was there. The closeouts were there. Portland, let's not forget, they were second in the league and made threes last year. They're a team that chucks it up a lot. They shot well from three in this game, too. They didn't start off very well. Everybody not named Damian Lillard eventually got better, including C.J. McCollum, who just went off in the third and fourth quarters. But the reason that this game turned, the Kings were up 18, and then all of a sudden the fouls went completely the opposite direction. That combined with the fact that CJ starts hitting from the outside, they started really trying to pound the ball inside a lot. And they used, once the Kings had to commit to that because the Blazers continued to get to the foul line, then they got better looks from three. They weren't as contested. Robert Covington hits one. Nasir Little hits one. Norman Powell hits one. So, yes, they gave up 121 points tonight, but the defensive effort is what I was most impressed with, and that is all that you can do on defense. It's your effort.
Yeah, so, and Damian Lillard was getting to the basket with ease. He was making some pretty contested layups. He had 20 points tonight, so it's not like he disappeared. That's only 9 points below his average, which, unfortunately, if he had 9 more points, Kings probably would have lost this game. However, that's why they play the game, right?
Exactly.
All right. So 209 Kings. I had a friend going to Vegas last week, so they put it I think at MGM. I got the slip in my car. So but yeah, $500 on it. Maybe you could do it on Bovada or somebody like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I just saw down here, Richard said Crown is our sponsor, and man, that would be awesome. If Crown Royal wants to sponsor us, you guys can holler at us. We'll gladly take that, but that is not the correct answer.
That's very close, though. That's very close. Buddha says, because the bag is purple and Crown is perfect for the Kings.
Again,
keep
also
going,
close.
keep going.
You guys are on the right track.
Keep going.
On the right track.
Keep going.
We might have to do a little history lesson on our next show, but
Hallie was +8. Yeah, exactly. Impact. You feel like he didn't play well tonight because you're looking at the box score. Look at Davion Mitchell's box score. He played 24 minutes, 2 points. He was -10, 0 steals, 0 blocks, and he played incredible on the defensive end of the floor.
he did.
So defense doesn't always show up on these sheets here.
And Haliburton drew C.J. McCollum in the defensive lineup for most of the game too. So he had his hands full all night long.
Yep. He was going off. I want to remind you all that are just joining the show here, Royal Rebounds Podcast live with Calvin and Barry. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. On Friday daytime, before the Jazz game, we will be debuting Season 2, Episode 1 of the Royal Report. If you guys want to check out last season, go ahead and check in our videos posted last year. It's an ESPN-style show. ESPN doesn't talk about the Kings enough, so we have to do it here instead. We have a rundown. We talk about a bunch of topics. It is all Sacramento Kings, and we have a lot of fun doing it. So make sure you guys check that out on Friday. And then Friday night, we will be streaming live after the Jazz game. Hopefully, another victory. But they got to work on their pick and roll game pick and roll defense, because I saw Nurkic open under the basket way too many times tonight, right?
Yeah, well, it's difficult. I mean, when you're in the pick and roll with two of the best three-point shooters in the league, the idea is to give up that pass, right, and to trap out at the three-point line. You know, the big man, Rashawn Holmes or whoever it is on that pick, has to hedge high. But I did see there were a few times tonight where the communication on the screen itself could have been better.
Yep.
You know, there was one moment I can think of in particular where Davion this was off-ball screen, but Davion was recovering to, I believe it was CJ, and he actually was there on the recovery. He fought through the screen, but Rashawn Holmes is so worried about it that he actually hedges on the screen before the ball even gets to CJ. Mm-hmm. He doesn't even realize that Davion is there in good defensive position, and they give up a wide open layup because there's a miscommunication underneath with Buddy Hield and De'Aaron Fox. They weren't sure who to pick up on the roll man. So,
and when CJ's shooting so good,
yeah. Well, and this is in the first half too. This was before he really caught fire. So, but it's CJ McCollum. I mean, you have to close out on him no matter what. So there are definitely some situations like that where I think they can clean up the communication a little bit better. And again, you know, there are a lot of new pieces out here. They haven't played together a ton. So I'm not worried about that. Like I said, the effort, they showed enough to me effort-wise defensively that I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah, so if you guys can get us up to 30 likes, Calvin and I will both be doing a shot. It is Calvin's birthday at midnight. Happy birthday, Calvin. So we'll do a birthday shot if you guys can bring us to 30 likes. But just to let you all know, the Sacramento Kings are not originally from Sacramento. They originally started in Rochester, New York, and their main sponsor was Crown Royal. So that's why they were called the Royals before they ended up moving and ending up in Sacramento. They changed their name in Kansas City when the Kansas City Royals baseball team took over. They changed their name to the Kings, so they were the Kansas City Kings, and then ended up moving to Sacramento down the line. So that is why we have a bottle of Crown Royal. They are the original sponsors of your Sacramento Kings
There you go.
or Rochester Royals.
Rochester Royals. That's right.
Hey, the Lakers are claiming all their championships, so we're claiming one also. If you guys watched the Royal Report last season, Calvin and I celebrated, what was that, the 70th anniversary of the championship.
Yes.
So that was pretty huge. All right, Kyle, we need one more like here. One more like. Need to build this channel. We're trying, bro. We're trying.
Yep.
We're trying.
209 Kings. I hear you. He's going to take a shot with us, too.
30 likes, Cal. Here we go.
I believe you have the shot glasses over there, so.
I was a bartender in my past life. Let's see here. We got these beautiful Sacramento Kings shot glasses. They are fresh and not washed, but they will be delicious.
It's okay. Alcohol kills it, right?
I'm going to pull this off. You guys know it's fresh.
Thank you, Dirt and Russ out there. Appreciate the birthday wish.
We're not doing any did you guys ever watch Shoe Nice? Did anybody watch Shoe Nice when that guy was on YouTube? That was wild. He that guy would drink like whole bottles of liquor, and then he would have like all these aftermath videos of him being crazy wasted. Go check him out. He was doing a battle for like best YouTube star.
Thank you, Kings. Appreciate all the birthday wishes, you guys.
All right, give me that back over there. Oh man. Silver Patron. Oh man, dude, I love tequila. It doesn't like me. All right, Cal. Everybody, same time. Happy birthday,
Cheers,
Calvin.
y'all. Thank you.
Cheers, Cal.
Go Kings.
Woo! 1-0, baby. Oh, it feels good. All right, guys. I think we're going to wrap it up here. We had an awesome time. Had a really good time watching the game. Happy to see a Kings victory. 1-0. We are undefeated. You guys live it up. Enjoy it while you can. It's hard to tell how often we will have this experience. But, hey, I'm still positive about Friday night. I think we got a good chance against the Jazz. Anything you want to say last against the Jazz or about the Jazz?
Well, I think you hit it on the head. The pick-and-roll defense is going to be key. Also, defending the three-point line. The Jazz were one of the best three-point shooting teams in the league last year. They can really spread you out. And I'm excited to see who gets Donovan Mitchell. Is it going to be Davion? Are they going to throw somebody like Mo Harkless at him again to start? It'll probably be a combination, of a few players on him.
Mitchell on Mitchell crime.
Mitchell on Mitchell crime. Davion, Donovan. Barry can't even screw it up this time.
I know. And Donovan Mitchell's on my fantasy team, so I might have to bench him. We'll see. We'll see. All right, guys. Thank you all for joining us. Another Kings victory. We'll catch you all on Friday during the Royal Report during the daytime. And after the game, we will catch you to celebrate a Kings victory. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. In the meantime, go Kings.
Go Kings.